How's it going? How are things where you are? Here in Philly, they lifted the curfew on Sunday, and last week they did take down the statue of former mayor and inveterate racist Frank Rizzo. So that's some progress, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be the only progress at this point. Hopefully, there are more actions that are going to be taken as a result of the protests. I hope so. While we're on the subject, I said something really dumb last week. Not when I expressed skepticism about whether anything was actually going to change because of the protests, because I am a cynic and I'll always take the wait and see approach. But when I said, and this was recorded, the previous show was recorded on a Tuesday, and I had said that I hoped that things were going to quiet down by Saturday. And listening to it during the playback, I winced a little bit because I realized it sounded like I was saying, well, hopefully this thing is all going to blow over and things will go back to normal on Saturday. No, that's not what I meant. Things cannot go back to normal when normal for some people is living in fear that you're going to run into the wrong cop at the wrong time. We can't go back to that. I was just saying that I hope the stuff like the looting would stop. But the protests are warranted. The protests are needed. It does look like the protests are having effect. Once again, I'm a cynic, but it looks like things may actually change for the better. We'll wait and see. But in any case, welcome to Dan Records an Hour of the Wolf review. I am going to record an Hour of the Wolf review for, excuse me, I am going to record an Hour of the Wolf review for the radio show Hour of the Wolf, which airs on WBAI 99.5 FM. Now, if you're a fan of the show, you know that right at the moment, while we are still in kind of quasi-quarantine, quasi-getting back to normal phase, the show is airing every other week on Saturdays at 5 a.m. And coming up this weekend, which is June 13th, the show is not meant to air. So this review I'm going to do now may not actually air on the show. I may tag it into a review that will air on the show because I really did like this film and I would like to spread word about it if I can. But whatever the case, I am going to record the review now. Let me grab a refreshing beverage for a second. Let's see what we can do. Let me check the recorder. It is still recording. By the way, you may notice that after our experiment with 3D last week, we've gone back to 360-degree virtual reality. The 3D experiment was interesting. My technique still needs work as far as the effect it has on your eyes when you're watching it, but I thought it had merit to it. The problem with it is that all of the stuff that needed to be done to get that video out actually sucked up 2 days of time, because you can't just lay in a video panel, which I did right over here. You can't just lay in a video inset like you would in a regular editor. You need to do other steps in order to get that in 3D. So it was a little more work than I want to do for these things. Not that I don't love you, not that you're not worth it, but I've got other things that I want to do with the time that I have right now. So in any case, we're going back to VR. Hopefully I have now found a way of generating quality footage out of the editor. So if you are seeing this with an opening theme song and a title card laid over at the beginning, you know that I was able to get the editor to work and everything. If this just started without any sort of embellishment, and there are no embellishments following this, you know that I didn't quite get the editor to work. But you're going to be getting this anyway, and hopefully for June 13th, this will fill in the lupine gap that you'll be missing without having Hour of the Wolf for that particular Saturday. It's my gift. Excuse me. It's my gift to you. Wow. Once again, like last week, my voice box is feeling the strain. But that water sure is tasty. Okay, but we are going to do the review now. One more time, if you're new to this, let me just point out that when you hear my reviews on Hour of the Wolf, those are heavily edited. I'm pretty good at reading from scripts, but I'm nowhere near perfect on this. And so what you're going to be watching here is what happens when I'm actually recording the review. So there will be some stumbling. There will be some points where I have to back up and read a sentence multiple times to get it right. It's fun. But we will get the review recorded. Okay, so enough chitter-chatter. Let's record this. And let me check once again. Recorder is still running. Here we go. Let me move the mic in a little closer. That's beautiful. That's perfect. That's an epic. Okay. Hour of the Wolf review, air date. Might run on June 20th. We'll see. The Vast of Night, take one. I'm Dan Persons, and this is my Hour of the Wolf review. The new and surprisingly soulful science fiction thriller, The Vast of Night, which... Take two. I'm Dan Persons, and this is my Hour of the Wolf review. The new and surprisingly soulful science fiction thriller, The Vast of Night, which just debuted on Prime Video, uses the familiar tack of framing its tale within the context of an airing of a Twilight Zone-like knockoff to address a familiar theme of people emerging from the comforting cocoon of their innocence to confront a world more complex and troubling than they have permitted themselves to acknowledge. It's by the temper of these times that its tale of a young radio DJ, played by Jake Horowitz, and a young telephone operator, played by Sierra McCormick, seeking to discover the source of a mysterious audio signal that's plaguing their small New Mexico town, that the film gains a special resonance. Midway through the story, the DJ, Everett, takes a call... Midway through the story, the DJ, Everett, takes the call of a man, Billy, voiced by Bruce Davis, who served in the Army. He tells Everett about being shipped out to do construction work on a building designed to conceal a large, mysterious object concealed in a tarp, and how the construction crew heard that same mysterious signal. Towards the end of his story, Billy notes that he and all the other soldiers on that construction crew were black, and that these work details were composed that way because, quote unquote, who's going to listen to us? The context of the injustices we're confronting as a nation now give that line more impact than probably even director and co-writer Andrew Patterson intended. But the relevance still lands within or without the present moment. Rod Serling himself would have approved. Despite the TV show wraparound, there's no real sense of camp in Vast of Night. The tone feels more like a triangulation between the surreal enigmas of David Lynch and the more human ambiguities of Paul Thomas Anderson, the latter particularly in the way the glowing, honey-tinged imagery will occasionally fade to black, or dip back to the grayscale raster of a TV set, or transition into an abstract pattern of colored lights. At times, it feels as if Patterson's story gets away from him. Both Everett and the operator Fay abandon their posts, their jobs, their responsibilities for extended periods without much reflection, and steal vehicles as needed to get them to their next location. That could be chalked up within the context of the story to the impetuousness of youth and the fact that in a small town, everyone knows everyone else. And so, get them to their next location. That could be chalked up within the context of the story to the impetuousness of youth and the fact that in a small town, everyone knows everyone else, and so, quote unquote, borrowing a car or a bike is no big deal. It still feels a little slapdash to me. That's a minor point in a film that casts its own quiet and thoughtful spell, while spotlighting the moment when one emerges from a willful ignorance to recognizing something too long ignored. Clearly, Patterson and co-writer Craig W. Sanger wanted not just to replicate the form of The Twilight Zone, but also its socially relevant spirit. They just so happened to do it in a way that speaks to us now. Vast of Night is a wonderful film. I'm just glad it arrived when it did. And if the recent visual transition of many police forces into military format has caught you by surprise, you might want to check out the Historama 3D episode Rural Surveillance has trapped me again. I have trouble with the word rural. I turn into a hound dog. Let me try it again. This may take a while. Hang in with me. And if the recent visual transition of many... And if the recent visual transition of many police forces into military format has caught you by surprise, you might want to check out the Historama 3D episode Rural Surveillance to see one of the ways it might have gotten there. Just search on YouTube for Historama 3D. Okay. For Historama 3D. And of course, if you can help by donating somewhere, please do. The places and people in need are starting to pile up, but I leave it to your good judgment. The ACLU, Feeding America, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Partners in Health, many, many more. None of us can help everybody. Well, maybe Bill Gates can. But we can all do our little bit. Search Google, use the term Black Lives Matter charity. I just found a page on the New York Magazine site that lists a healthy portion of charities. Pick one or a couple and help out. We can make this better. Thank you. For Hour of the Wolf, I'm Dan Persons. Hi. Nope, didn't go quite as bad as I was anticipating it would. I tend to have trouble reading like really good reviews, reading reviews or creating reviews of films that I really like. And I really liked The Vast of Night. If you do have Amazon Prime, you should check it out. But that'll be it for now. Hope you got something out of that, and if not, well, it's on you. It's only a few minutes after all. But no, I do hope you enjoyed it at the very least. And if you want to comment on it, good or bad, comment below. You can also hit the like button to let me know you liked it. You can also subscribe to the Upstart Company channel so that you can see our upcoming videos and get word on our upcoming videos. And, and once again, if you do comment below, keep it sweet, even if it's a negative review. You can do it politely because we all need the emotional support right now. In any case, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week when we shall have a review, hopefully that actually airs on Hour of the Wolf. Take care.